So what offense do we think Bear Bryant ran at Junction Boys since we're talking about
Is that a
offenses today?
is
I'm
that a
thinking he
Googleable
probably
question?
ran a T maybe.
Yeah, that's probably a Googleable question we could Google. And actually, I just did a podcast, like just me talking about the T offense. I ran that in 2022. That is a beautiful thing. That's one of those offenses we can talk about this evening because that's a
Yeah.
that's a fun one.
Yeah, I run it in kind of a diamond formation I call trig, which is basically the same thing. And I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you did, but Caesar said he was about to pick the T versus the unbalanced single wing. I
Hmm.
was like shocked. I was like, wow. Everybody, we're
Yeah,
filming
happy
this,
Turkey Day.
I guess, the night before. So if you're wondering, this is what that was. Zach, what's up?
Man, you see it. Just we went out and had dinner tonight because my wife had been cooking all day. So
Yep.
we went out and had dinner out with the in-laws. What about you?
That's awesome. Yeah, we actually we grabbed in. We did takeout with Greek, our favorite Greek place, because I'm cooking. My sons wanted ribeye steaks and baked potatoes tomorrow instead of turkey, so that's what we're doing tomorrow.
Nice. So the whole family's going to be in town?
Yep, yep. Everybody's in with us. It'll be a nice deal, and then we're out Christmas.
Nice. Okay. So the Egg Bowl's tomorrow. Is that a game you're watching?
The Egg Bowl with Dallas and who?
Oh,
There's a
that's Ole Miss, Mississippi State. That's Lane Kiffin. Could be
oh
his
no, I'm
last
not.
Egg Bowl.
No, I'm getting excited for I'm an Aggie,
Hmm.
so we've got the big game. I think it's what Friday, the A&M Texas game.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be if Texas A&M wins, they're in the SEC championship game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And so there's yell practice. I was going to try to catch that on TV tomorrow night. I think that's when it
Mhm.
is. I have to check. I use reverse psychology on this A&M football thing ever since I graduated because if I get too involved, they lose. But if
Right.
I'm only kind of involved, they win. And so like I was watching that one game where they were down by someone got 27 or 30 points at half and I was so into it and I'm like I got to stop watching and when I did they came back so I know this goofy this goofy strategy works.
That's so
uh,
good, man.
so I'm trying not to pay too much attention but it's absolutely amazing, so I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, what a year. I mean, like Texas was supposed to have the year they're having right
Texas,
now,
right?
and
And I
it's
hate that
flipped.
color, to be honest. I don't mind Texas but I hate that burnt orange color. I don't know why. Isn't it
Oh my
terrible?
gosh. I mean, that's a polarizing color.
It
I
is.
think you either
Maroon
love
is
it or
so
hate it.
much prettier. Giggle Mags.
Gigamags.
I had a bunch of friends. My high school, because we lived in North Houston in Spring Klein. Half of us went to A&M basically, and the other half went to UT. And I was accepted to both. And a friend of mine's dad bought a house for the four of us off campus, and so that was we were like, yeah, that's where we're going.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Came a party house. We had so much fun there, and A&M is such a good school.
Did you ever read the book Junction Boys about Bear Bryant's team at
Uh,
A&M?
I've read some stuff about it, watched a couple documentaries, and man, he was a hard ass. I mean, that I don't know
Mhm.
if I would have made through what he put those guys through. I mean, that was like a death march, right?
It was rough. I remember
Uh,
reading it as a high schooler and thinking, I don't think anybody on my team
would have,
not would have made it. I mean, maybe 1 or 2,
yeah,
but whew, man, that was
yeah. Woo.
a different era for sure. I mean, people like this one guy almost died.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's absolutely crazy what he put him through. I think every generation we get softer, right? And that's what he would have said about us. You guys are
I mean, that's a
city boys
fact.
soft.
That is a fact. I mean, I think there's some goodness there that we take more caution, but I think at some point we got to take look in the mirror and go, I
Yeah,
think things
I mean,
should be hard to some degree.
I think I will say, I graduated high school in '82, so I was in from what 77 to '82 kind of thing. The water thing was an issue. We were in Houston with like 90-degree weather and 100% humidity, and We were drinking water from a spigot on the field out of our helmets, and
Mhm.
they were almost killing it. Like, if you were asking for water in practice, you're kind of a puss. And, now
Oh,
it's like,
gee.
give everybody water, right?
Mhm.
I was one of the first schools in Texas, we had Gatorade, I think our senior year, and that was like, wow, this is like magical thing. But yeah, I
Right.
think some good things have changed. Water being, I think, the best.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely think that, but I do think a lot of it is kids just aren't outside. Like, they
No.
they just don't go outside in the summer because they're inside on their devices or whatnot.
Yeah, and there's a whole thing to that. I remember, I think in the, '80s when the Pixie Sticks got poisoned, and then a couple of kids got kidnapped. Yeah, all that got shut down. Everybody was in the house from then on. I remember that change actually
Mm,
as a young adult, but, we're
mhm.
getting off track now.
No, this is good though. I love long form podcasts because we can just talk about what we want to talk about, then get back into the subject at hand.
Yeah,
We can
you're good
just
about
veer
that.
off
You keep me, more relaxed and flexible. I'm kind of
always.
a control freak,
I
but
don't
yeah,
see
so
that.
what offense do we think Bear Bryant ran at Junction Boys since we're talking about
Is that a
offenses today?
is
I'm
that a
thinking he
Googleable
probably
question?
ran a T maybe,
Yeah, that's probably a Googleable question we could Google. And actually, I just did a podcast, like just me talking about the T offense. I ran that in 2022. That is a beautiful thing. That's one of those offenses we can talk about this evening because
yeah.
that's a fun one.
Yeah, I run it in kind of a diamond formation I call trig, which is basically the same thing, and I thought it was interesting, I don't know if you did, but Caesar said he was about to pick the T versus the unbalanced single wing. I
Mhm.
was, like, shocked, I was like, "Wow."
Mm.
But, when I was looking for B stuff and going through all the Yale stuff and things like that, I didn't know that the T formation is the oldest formation, and then the single wing with Pop Warner came out around 1908 or 10, but the T was being run in the late 1800s, which I thought was interesting. So, yeah, it's been around a long time, and I wrote a T book. There's several variations of this thing.
Mhm. Oh,
I
yeah, it
think
has
like
its
10. There's
there
like 10
definitely are.
different weird variations. Is
And
it
Bobby
Farrat that ran the option out of the T that was kind of
oh,
interesting?
I don't know that name. I know Bobby Dodd ran the T at
Yep.
Georgia Tech. And in recent years, I mean recent, like teams in Michigan still run the T
Yes.
as a
They have
series.
it's their own little thing. Yeah,
Trap,
it's yep.
power, keep, pass. And I ran that at Buckhannon in 2022. Then we transitioned because our line didn't move real well, and we moved some pieces around to more of like a belly offense or
Yeah,
like
and
an
then
ISO offense.
The Chicago Bears of the NFL in the '50s ran it with some motion to make it
Mm,
more like a wing T thing. So that was interesting because they would move
mhm,
one of the backs out in motion to get some passes thing. So, yeah, it is I think, not to be biased about the Beast, but I will say that, um,
mm,
the T has more in it that I think people understand that what's there because you can split the guys out, you could do all
mhm,
kinds of crazy things and make it work for you. And it's sort of a pistol under the center in a way. So you kind of think of it kind of that way. I think
mhm.
I've said before that since I've written all these books, offense is offense. So the T has a lot of advantages, especially the power with the three backs, especially in youth football.
Mhm. Yeah, shoot, a team in Michigan won the state championship running the T last year. Zeeland West, I think, won the 6A. I think that's the highest classification in Michigan, won the state championship. And then a team won, I think, the 4A or 5A state championship in the Power I. So
Yeah.
power football's still winning in 2024, 2025. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I
think,
mean?
somebody sent me some Cleveland Brown stuff. They were running some Fat Cat single wing things here the other day.
Mhm,
So power's on its way back, and I think, it's because of that those defenses aren't really set up to do it anymore. Because everybody was set up to stop the T and power. Everybody went to
mhm,
the spread, and now the spread's been around what, since really heavy since 2005 or so, which, and
mhm.
so now it's like 20 years of it, we're gonna change this thing up.
I
So
remember going to the Franklin Clinic. Are you familiar with the Franklin system, the spread system?
I am not, but let's hear it.
So,
Educate me. Educate us
to,
all.
shoot, Tony Franklin coached with Hal Mummy, and then coached a couple different stops: Middle Tennessee State,
So
Troy.
Mummy is the air raid guys, everybody. So
Mummy's the air raid guy, and
yep.
then Tony Franklin was with him. Tony Franklin started a system that a bunch of high schools used. I think maybe still use. I'm not sure if the system's still going, but it was a spread system, and the purpose of it was to try to win games with inferior athletes. Oh, how the tides have turned, right? So it's going the other way, like you were saying. They were trying to win games with inferior personnel, smaller, because people were running I back then,
Right.
right? Mainly in college. And they went spread because they didn't have those big guys that could push people around.
Right. So they've got to do something different.
Absolutely. And then now it's 180 back to everybody has the fast guys, air quotes. And now people are trying to go back to power football to control the pace of the game.
Well, what's interesting about what you just said is the Franklin system and that, but that's what Dave Nelson and those guys were trying to do with the wing T. Because they were
Right,
in
right.
Yeah, they're in Delaware with the, and they're like, we're not getting the Division 1 really top tier athletes.
Mhm.
We can't push people around. We're going misdirection. So it was that misdirection piece before the spread, so they could play with second tier athletes on the line,
Mhm.
faster, smaller, maybe not second tier, but you know what I mean. Not these big gigantic linemen. So that's interesting that everybody is trying to come up with a system to beat these D1 super stud teams that have everybody, and they're trying to do different misdirection and passing with smaller athletes. And
Mhm.
then, it's always a game of offense and defense who can match up eventually and shut it off, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. And I mean, for you, like with the beast, I imagine that's something that you studied and you've run because, hey, I can run this. If I have better players, it's great. But if I have equal players or maybe a little bit less, I can still be competitive in games.
Yeah, I can still be competitive. With the Beast, my system, and I don't want to, tout it like the Wing T, but I run a Power Wing Beast offense.
Mhm.
It is actually a multiple system that I put together over the decades that I can basically take any roster, really super studs or middle or low, and still be competitive because there's like 6 different formations or offenses, whatever you want to call in there. And one is what I call trig, which is similar to a T. It's an inverted
Mhm.
wishbone diamond kind of thing in a power I. So I have a speed double wing that's kind of a wing T misdirection thing if I have speed. And then I've got beast, of course, is kind of a general. And then I've got these others that are powers center. That's the reason, and all of them are kind of wing based. So you got power wing and beast, and that's how I came up with the name because you've got those multiples in there.
Mhm.
And I think that has worked for me because I have to basically every season in our league changed our team.
Mhm.
So I had to be prepared to have a system that I could always change the offense with the particular team. And so I know I've told youth people, coaches, to have 2 or 3 offenses ready that you like and can have learned. And I think the T and the wing T that are in my systems too, and the B are all very good kind of youth systems to take a look at it. So,
Mhm.
and you mentioned Power I. What do you like about the Power I? I grew up in a Power I, high
Oh my
school, middle
gosh.
school, and youth.
Oh, the downhill nature of it
Yeah.
and the ability to overwhelm at the point of attack,
Yes.
and then the counter
The,
game can
the
take
counter game.
the counter game off it, and then the play action off it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's just the visual of that. I'm a big, do I like the look of something? You
It
know what I mean? Like, does it look good? Is that something my brain likes and can say, oh, okay, I can build an offense around this formation? And I'm sure that's kind of how your brain works
Yeah,
too.
because what's interesting about the Power I and then the offset I wing they go really well together because the change
Mhm.
is small, along with the inverted wishbone or T. Those
Mhm.
three really, it's not a lot of movement for the backs to look like a different whole offense, but it's really kind of all the same. So
Mhm.
those formations are amazing. If you run this multi, you can kind of call it a multi-eye thing.
Mhm.
And then if you throw in the wishbone, oh my God, these four together are basically all similar plays. And if you want to simplify it, it's just all downhill with like 8 holes. It's
Mhm.
really simple at the youth. And I would think at the high school level that's simple too, that you could install a lot of stuff off of those four kind of multi-eye formations.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, and there's a friend of mine that coaches at a school in Michigan, and they actually do a count system for their blocking rules.
Yeah,
So
that
they
one, two,
know
three, man. Yep.
Yep, so they
Yep.
know, like, they identify their center identifies 0,
Yep.
and then based on the play, they know they're not responsible for this guy. The
Right.
back is. And I never played the system like that, but there is something to that that intrigues me because now you're just accounting for people. If you can play in their offense, if you can count to 3 as offensive lineman, right?
Yeah, yeah. We've called it Dracula for our like
Ooh, okay.
when we go to Beast Wide or our beast spread jumbo, and we've got guys outside or the tight end and outside. We count the guy on the tight end as kind of sluggo. He's the 0
Mhm,
guy, and then we count 1, 2, 3, and then they count 1, 2, 3, and they know, okay, I got 1, I got 2, I got 3 kind of thing. And
mhm,
so we use a count system when we go outside of the tackle kind of tight end guy, and we'll use kind of a count system there. And it works pretty good. We've used a count system too. I know we're not talking about special teams, but we use a count system on our kick return team to count the defenders
mhm,
or the kickoff guys and say we're gonna block those at. That works great.
mhm. The longer I coach, the more I think if we can just get the right people on the right guys with good technique, we always have a shot.
Right, and and I've debated this, and I think we talked about it in our blocking thing. Is it better to have the technical expertise on the block, or is it who to block?
Mhm,
Which one
mhm.
is really? And I know at youth, it's like getting on a guy at least in the way.
Right,
You
right,
know, I don't need to
right.
knock him down. I just need to shield him for half a second.
Mhm.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
I still think
It's the
yeah, it's
guy,
important that
right?
you it's the guy. You have to block the right dude first, because if you're going the wrong way, we have a problem, right? We're not blocking point of attack people, and
And
then
so,
it's,
yeah,
how are you blocking them? And that's a career long thing. I still struggle with technique as a offensive lineman my 5th year in college. It just takes a long time to try to perfect that.
and I am so atypical on this about low man wins and youth and the blocking thing. I'm like I want to get my hands on them and then deal with them that way. And if
Mhm,
I'm low, that's fine. But I want my hands engaged, and if I can get under their elbow or armpit or hit that leverage on the hip, I've got him at that point.
mhm,
Or I drop and cut him. But I'm not as much as low as I am. I want my hands on the guy quick and the right guy. That's kind of mine. And I
mhm.
think there's some folks that talk about that. I heard something the other day about the block. It'll come back to me. I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, guys. I'm old. I'm 62.
Oh, that's funny.
I lost the train of thought. But yeah, I think who to block to me is more important than the technique.
Yeah, I love the fact you said it's about hands and being body to body, being on the right person. Because I would argue with guys who would say, "Oh, we just need to be lower," and I said, at some point,
Lower to what?
right? I said, at some point, the guy's helmet's going to be on the grass. So like, at what point is low enough?
Okay. This is a great tangent because I played line all the way up until
Hmm.
10th grade, basically, and you played line through college. Trying to be the low man against some of those, I felt like I was at a disadvantage sometimes because I was trying to get too low.
Right.
Did you?
Use your leverage. If you're
Yeah,
taller,
I was
you
like I lost leverage because
right.
and basically I just rolled on him and cut him, but I felt
Mhm.
like I lost something. I might have been up and pushed him on the ground and went to somebody else because I was so big at the time. If I wasn't trying to get low on the dude. And I feel like new school blocking, it is more hands engaged in the chest and kind of be low and hip feel, but they're not like I think we were taught where we're trying to shoulder block into the crotch. What do you
Yeah.
say on this? Am I off on this?
No, there are still teams that do shoulder block, but at some point, you're going to be higher than your stance. That's just the nature of the human body, and you won't have any power unless you are a little bit higher at the end than you were in your stance.
Yeah.
And so you want good knee bend, good flexion in the ankles, right? You want to be in a powerful position, and that's what's most important. It's fun. You and I both understand this. You're coaching the line, and some coach on your staff goes, "We just need to be lower." And
I,
I just give a look like you
oh
don't
no, don't
understand line
I'm like,
play.
why do I mean, yeah. Yeah, I still don't get that, but yeah, so we got off on a tangent, coaches. What hey, if you've got some thoughts on that, we would love to
Hmm.
argue and chat and debate that.
Yes.
So leave them in the comments on what you think about the low man wins. Does he really low man win? That's just kind of like form tackling to me. I never made a great form tackle except 5% of the time. I'm chasing somebody down, just trying to grab them and put them on the ground. So that's
Hmm.
another tangent. We won't get totally on that. But I think those two things are the same kind of myths that are,
Yes.
mm, I think they're debatable, really. But who am
Mhm.
I? I'm not in the pros.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
that's
shoot.
what I keep getting. That's what I keep hearing. You're a youth coach, dude.
Yeah, a
I
really
think
good one,
yeah,
and
it's a good one.
could coach high school if you wanted to, for sure.
Well, yeah, I should have probably done it, but I was too into corporate world at that point in my life. But if I
I
had it
get
to
it.
do over again, coaches, if you were like me and you got a knack for it and it got you at 30 and you're in the corporate world and you're thinking and your wife looks at you and says you should be a coach, go be a coach because
Mhm,
I should have taken that advice at
mhm,
that time to be a high school or college coach.
mhm. That's awesome, man. So, in my
I'm
area
jealous of you,
here
actually.
oh, geez, I wanna get back into it so bad. I'm looking for the right opportunity, then I definitely will. In my area, we see a lot of split back offenses.
Split
What's
backs,
your
yeah.
thoughts on split backs? What does that look like for you? What's your take on that?
Well, I think there's a lot of to me, there's a couple of things about it. Split back wing T. I mean, it is a wing T series, so that's very cool. Are you a veer team running split back like the Cougars did and doing option and things out of that? And then are you doing that because you don't really have a fullback, but you have two halfbacks or two tailbacks, and they're
Mhm,
better in a split, and then you've got your wing or a wideout. So those are the three kind of variable splits that I do. We use the split when we have two equal tailbacks, and we
mhm,
don't really have a traditional fullback, and we're trying now. We're not trying as much power, but we're trying to get outside C a little bit more, and then we'll cross butt counter into B's and then run wedges with A's and wing back kind of stuff. That's what we do kind of with our split back stuff at the youth because we're kind of this multi-eye team. So I consider split back kind of in this multi-eye for me. How do you look at it?
Yeah, I see it like you see it. I did a lot of podcasts with split back veer guys in the summer, and that actually splits into two camps. There's guys that
Yeah.
read all of it, inside veer, outside veer, the the counter option stuff. And then there's guys that don't have their quarterback read it. They call it.
They call it. Yeah, so I agree with that. At the youth level, if you're trying to run option, if you're 12, maybe under no. But yeah, I think if you're calling it, just like in the wishbone when you run youth, that
Mhm.
is the way to do it at youth. Yes.
And then the guys I've been around at or in the county that I've helped coached in, it was basically man on or zone blocking, uh, back, whole number, and that's That's good too. Some play action off that, some straight drop
Yep.
back passing, especially if your quarterback can throw it a little bit.
Yep.
It does add a little bit of a layer to that offense that can make it successful.
Yeah. So I like the split if I've got equal backs for us, and then we turn it in kind of a multi-eye kind of thing, and then
Mhm,
we'll run some wing T stuff out of it because you're already kind of in this kind of wing T. They're just split a little bit, and it is a
mhm,
series there. So I like it. Uh, for me, I still like probably offset I wing versus a
mhm,
split. Only because we're trying to find that power fullback guy to run more downhill. But
mhm,
if you've got speed, I think that work. You know that if more speed backs, that works great.
mhm.
But
What
I
makes
agree.
you oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I think I just want to reiterate if, and this comes from Jack Reed, not just me. If you guys haven't heard of Jack Reed, he's a great youth author, wrote some books back in the 2000s. Trying to run option at a youth, I mean, that was hard in high school. That's a lot of practice time.
Mhm,
You're going to fumble probably a ton and get jacked up with the D end on your tailback. So just be careful of that. If you are the 1% unicorn that can do it, but be careful. We're talking about the veer. Yeah.
absolutely.
So
What makes you like the offset eye better? What about that makes you go, "Oh, man, I really like" but you call it angle, right? Is that
I
what you
do
call it,
call it
angle?
angle. I do call it. So I'm running an offset eye wing, which I call angle, which looks like a wing, like a single wing. So
Mhm,
even though single wing isn't in the my playbook, I didn't put it in there only because I knew the single wing. I probably should add it because that is the shotgun part of the
mhm,
offset eye wing thing that I run. But I like the offset eye because I was the fullback in a power eye in high school, and it was really hard for me to reach block the DN. Matter of fact, I got chewed out in practice so bad. Of course, I was talking to this friend of mine, Doug Parker, we were kind of Twinkies in high school in the huddle, and of course he's talking to me, and I'm the one that got caught, and so I missed the block on this play, and so I'm running 440s for the rest of the practice.
mhm,
But I like to split by that fullback over a little bit to let him help out a little bit. It
mhm,
also looks like a wing tee with the fullback up a little bit. So you have this counter coming back between you and the fullback and the wing, kind of a
mhm,
lead or double lead or whatever. So it has a little bit there. And then it also, if you move those two other backs down, they're in a beast. So
mhm,
it's very easy. So I can go from an offset eye to a power eye to the beast, inverted wishbone. It kind of just moves itself into the beast in like a little flip book per
mhm,
se. So that's why I like the offset eye versus the eye. Now, the guy that I coach with, huge eye player. He wants to run, eye coach. He wants to run eye because he thinks that in the eye, you don't know what direction the ball's going because you're
mm,
balanced,
mhm,
right? And the wing is kind of moving around. I like to have the opposite because people think I'm going that way, but I can go the other way. So there's two camps to that. Does that make
mm.
sense? I kind of circled this and
No,
got out of
that
the
makes a
eye.
lot of sense. I was a I used the eye as a head coach for 3 seasons, and yes, you can attack either side, which is great, and if you have a really good ball carrier, that's even better. If
Oh,
you have
beautiful.
2, beautiful, but the keys and the reads for the defense are pretty simple. If you're gonna hand the ball to the tailback in the eye 90% of the time, they can just key him. Now,
Right.
every offense has keys, but that's I guess would say that's the downside of that style at the high school level at least.
Yeah, and I think I've written an article on the eye and the offset eye somewhere, and I can reiterate what I think about that. And some other coach, it's not me, it's not coming from me. I can't remember the other coaches that talk about this. If you're going to run a tailback and an eye, that dude needs to be special.
Mhm,
He can't be a juke back that's going to get hurt every other play. I mean,
mhm,
this guy has to be kind of this hybrid fullback tailback guy that can go down the middle. He's not going to get arm tackled, and he can break tackles. If you don't have, and then he also can run a sweep like a juke back, like no
Right.
big deal. So
Mhm.
you're looking at if you've got that D1 player on your Pee Wee team and you know he's going to be the D1 player, like
Mhm.
we had this kid named Lane. I mean, yeah, he's the deal. So he's the tailback. We ran power everything downhill with him. He never got hurt. He was mean, and I think if you're going to run an multi-eye, and you've got that tailback, like you said, the defense knows he's getting the ball. He
Mhm.
spied. He's targeted, parents. Just
Right.
FYI. That
Right,
guy
yeah.
is targeted. That's not mean, but that's what the defense is, they're spying him,
Oh, yeah.
you know. So he's got to be a special back, right? Don't you think? And your offensive line
Mm.
has to be dominant because we're coming downhill,
Yeah,
right?
there's not much misdirection in that style
No,
of
there's not
offense.
a whole lot, and your fullback has to know how to lead and pick up and seal and kick, and you've got to have that. Your
Mm.
quarterback can be a manager,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
yeah, the tailback has to be special, I would think, don't you?
I agree, and you have to ha I had a high school coach tell me this years ago, you have to have more than one.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah,
You have to have well, the high school level, you need to have, like, 2 or 3
because they're going to
because
get beat up.
they're gonna get beat up, and you have to have a couple fullbacks too because those guys are kicking people out or they're ISOing a linebacker. Now, sometimes they fake opposite the play on counter if you're running GT counter, but those guys have to be really tough, physical dudes for the eye
Yeah, I
work.
mean, as in high school, they asked me what did I wanted to play because Doug and Steve Part, we were in the paper. We were kind of a Twinkie set. We both
Mhm.
played same positions. He went on to play for Baylor, though. I did not. I was the loser of the two. He worked out, guys, players. He worked out, bench 500 pounds, did everything he
Mm.
was supposed to do. I was lazy. Don't be lazy. But yeah, I chose defense because I hate, oh my God, playing fullback. You're getting hit.
Mhm.
You're just getting wiped out on every play. I would rather hit somebody, but taking a punch when you don't have the ball, oh,
Mhm.
why?
Mhm. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because we were we're faking that option read up
Mhm.
the middle. So we're getting tackled, and I don't even have the ball. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm taking, so you're a special person playing fullback. And if you're a tight end, blocking tight end and also can catch, those are special players, I think.
Mhm. I agree. So my brain goes to this question. What makes you like the B set better than all of them?
It's really so it is simplified everything I need to do and it's quick to install. So I
Mm.
can go under center, which a lot of folks don't. That moves it out of the Yale. That's what was unique to me from Yale formation. I
Mhm.
went under center or shotgun. So that simplifies there for me. And then I think if you read about why they did it when they did it on the Yale tackleback thing, is it simplifies the blocking. So they were
Mhm.
in a T, and if you're in a T at youth, all those backs behind the quarterback have to know their angles and
Mhm.
and then the angles to block the leads or the kickouts. So there's a whole they have to get there at the right spots. The defenders are taking more time to move and they're having to see that as they're moving.
Mhm.
That's a hard thing to do. I know as a back that has done that. When I move the backs close to the line of scrimmage so they can touch the butts, and I usually have them kind of shoved so they've got their hands on the
Mhm.
thigh pads of the offensive lineman. The defenders are really close that they have to block. They can look at them and point. They only have to go about 4 steps to get to them versus maybe 10 to 12.
Mhm.
So the blocking paths to get to the kids they have to block the players is shortened and that time is shortened. And then my beast back, especially if he's under center, may not lose a yard because I'm teaching him to his elbow is basically hitting the butts of the linemen as he's going to hit his mark and to hit
Mhm.
the hole. So that simplifies really everything for the backs versus the other formations like a T or an offset eye or the power eye. Now, those are very simple, and I run those in a multi eye with the beast. That's why they're in the Power Wing Beast offense. And so I can go. My thing has always been I go from simple to sophisticated. I keep
Mm.
every system or offense that formation that I install, Beast is simple. Beast wide is a little bit more sophisticated. Beast jumbo a little more. Power eye a little bit more. Fat cat a little bit more. Speed definitely now is a tricked out high school offense. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I see as the difference. Do you see that and when how I've written it or
I
what
do,
you
absolutely,
see?
I do. And I see a teaching progression,
Yeah.
which is really cool to see. And I think when I look at just the beast package, so beast, beast wide, the other formations that go along with that, you could legitimately run just that package at the high school level. I've
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
teams run something very similar and be good. Those teams are very good teams because there's enough variance to where the defense doesn't know exactly what you're running every play, and you
Yeah,
get
and
really good at what you're doing.
I think what and it's probably my fault. I put so much in the Power Wing Beast offense. I mean, it's 500 pages if you look at the whole thing.
It is beautiful.
Well,
It
thank you.
is beautiful.
It's a lot, and you really got to be. And if you commit to it, you'll win. I mean, the guys
Mhm,
that really commit win a lot of games. Is that a lot of folks don't get to the other stuff. They really kind of stop on the Beast Tighter, the Beast Yale thing. Like
mhm,
I stopped on Dave's book right after the Sainted Six or the Sainted 10. Um, they didn't get past that and see the wide, then the double wide, and then the fat cat stuff, and then the
mhm,
wall and some other things, and then moving off into the more traditional offenses in it. Because if you add all of that in, it really will evolve with you as a team from experience to
mhm,
age all the way up to high school. It really
mhm,
will. And those that see it, I think, have read it all the way through and kind of get it. But I think a lot of folks like myself today, and with Dave's book, I my ADD got involved that I didn't get past the meat, and that's
mhm.
sort of sad. So I know I've thought about breaking a lot of it out and selling smaller pieces of it, but I don't know if I want to do that only because for those that really want to commit to it, it's all there all the way through high school if you want it.
Mhm. And what I love about it is it gives the coach who's coaching the team it gives them a huge toolbox. So I think
Options. Yeah,
of
there's a
their
ton of options.
yeah, a ton of options. There's a hammer, there's a screwdriver, there's a wrench, and then it's figuring out what do I need for the team I'm coaching, and the tools are in there.
Yeah, so that gets back to because I've had to every season, spring and fall, we would basically get a new team except for the 3 backs we might keep or maybe
Mhm,
only 1. We had to scramble about
mhm,
what and so I scrambled so much that I'm like, "Well, these are the ones that work." And or like the power eye variation that I have, Coach BK was running that against me, a variation of it. And I was like, "Oh, I like that.
right.
I'm pulling that one in because he's beating us with it." So, so some of those offenses were run against me really well, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put
Mhm,
this in my system." And yeah, so it's evolved over that 10-year period into something that works not only for me, but for a lot of other coaches. I mean, and uh, quite frankly, my biggest competitor. It works for him, and he sold a ton of stuff because he's a good marketer. So good for that. Good for the Power Wing Beast offense.
I think, like you were saying, designing an offense I had a coach tell me this years ago, he used this phrase, he called his offense the kitchen offense. So it's, what do I have in my kitchen? What ingredients do I have? And what appliances do I have? And then I use that to the best of my ability. Is that filet mignon every year? Probably not. But is it something that can help us be successful as we can possibly be? Sure. And I
Right.
think that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that you've got and that's where the beast rotation. We can get off the beast, but like, uh, we rotate the backs in the ball carriers and the blocking backs to
Mhm.
best put them in the position and what formation that's going to work best for the team and for them to be successful. And that's
Mhm.
really what you have to do as a coach. I know I just did a beast video on blocking, and I know a lot of guys will not. We move the two tackles around quite a bit and
Mhm.
hide them and move the best blockers to a side or not a side. And I don't know a lot of guys that are moving players around. A cool thing to do is sometimes if you've got a backside tackle that is playing tight end and he doesn't catch, and then on one play when you need 10 yards, you flip that tight end over on the backside, switch him
Mhm.
back. I've been beating the Super Bowl because some dude put a tailback there and ran a go route. So, you know, think
Mm.
outside the box and be put your best players in that tool area that
Mhm.
works, and
Mhm.
don't get hung up on what you can and cannot do. I think
Mm.
I think another formation that has really hit me after writing, I will say, after reading a lot about the wing tee, I fell in love with that. I think I said that on another podcast. But the
Mhm.
pistol
Mm. Mhm.
really opened up for me. It's very offset eye-ish and power eye-ish because you can
Mhm.
run kind of that stuff in shotgun. But what it does, I think, for a power team, and I think this could be high school, not youth, but just a power team in the pistol who may not be the best passing team and doesn't
Mhm.
have the best passing quarterback. The pistol, though, offers some nice short yardage things to move into a pure passing offense if you're not ready to go spready yet. It
Mhm.
has this opportunity to give you that along with all this downhill buck dive kind of running, and then you can leak out or spread out kind of these passes. So I have fallen in love, especially at the 11 and 12U level. I've brought in the pistol and kind of just embraced that.
Mhm.
It's very wing T-ish and power. I
Mhm.
mean, it's kind of got all of it if you
Mhm.
want it. So I've fallen. What do you? I love the pistol. I've actually grown to love the pistol.
Mhm. Yeah, we used it almost exclusively in 2016 and 2017. It ran a bunch of inside zone and outside
Yeah.
zone with it. But depending on what your personnel is, if you have tight ends and fullbacks, that can quickly be an eye variation. It can be
Yes.
ISO, it can be power, it can be counter, it can be toss sweep, it can be really whatever, like you said, it can be whatever you want to make it
Yeah,
to
you can
be.
gap scheme it, you can zone it, you can do
Mhm.
all kinds of stuff with it. It's easily mixable into a lot of other offenses. So coaches out there, if you've got some talent, especially if you've got all those backs, if you've got a running quarterback that actually can throw a little bit,
Mhm.
and then you've got some receivers and maybe a really good tall receiving tight end. Oh my God, that becomes kind of the next offense that's really popular from Kenny. The gun tee and I think the pistol marry
Mhm.
up really, really well together at a higher age group
Mhm.
because you really can just run anything out of it. That
Mhm.
2x1 set, the gun tee,
Mhm.
and you can move
Kenny.
out. And Rick Stewart runs the gun tee in a pistol tee, right? In a pistol
Mhm.
spread. Yeah, so
Mhm.
they're very close.
Absolutely. I had Kenny on the podcast in 2020, and we've been emailing, so I want to get him back on sometime this offseason is the goal. He wants to. It's just he's family travel and all that
Yeah,
kind of
he's
stuff.
really busy. I think he just put out like number 7 of his volume, so it's really good. I've written a gun tee multi-wing book because I was running a lot of that. He put something out, I guess when he first started like how many guys like this 2-by-1 formation, which is the base. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, we've been running that. That's so easier to block than trying to go 2-by-2. And then he puts
Mhm.
this book out and it just took off and it was like good. So I've written kind of a dumbed down version of what I would do, which I use a lot of orbit versus jet, and then some of
Mhm.
the things that he likes to do with RPO. In Vent, have you seen Coach Vent?
I know who he is, yes, Coach
Yeah,
James
he has
Vent.
an
Mhm.
RPO book that I matched into that with Kenny stuff and Rick stuff, which is really nice.
Mhm.
He's got a nice book on just how to add RPO to any offense.
Mhm.
And so that's really good. So yeah, I think the pistol and gun tee is really good for my youth guys. If you're in select, maybe 10, but 11 and up.
Mhm.
And 12, you can start playing with that if you've got the talent.
Mhm. I see Kenny's gun T stuff all over the place at the high school level,
Yes.
and I'm looking forward to talking to him again because it's something that I definitely want to study because I played against a team that ran it a couple of years back, and just looking forward to learning that from him again and buying some more of his material as well.
Yeah, his material's top notch. If you guys haven't ever bought some of that, it is really, really good. I think the thing, the whole, if you're a youth player, it's not so much RPO as the coach calling the audible RPO from the sideline,
Yes,
which
sir.
is what I talk about. You can still do RPO stuff at a younger youth age in high school. If your quarterback can't handle it, you can actually call it with
Mhm.
nicknames or hand signals, and it works great. It's
Mhm.
really good. So, what offense have we left off here that actually deserves a mention?
Oh
Maybe
my gosh.
we haven't said anything about double wing and single wing. So, do we
Shoot,
want to
single
say
wings.
something?
I think single wing, especially after looking at Coach Caesar's stuff, I think that is beautiful. And I think double wing, I just had Coach Van de Zan back on the podcast running the Don Markham double wing system.
Yeah, the Bible of
Both
it.
of those are, man, if you can run those effectively, those kill people's will because you
Yeah,
can control the clock and you just run people over.
I tell you what, if you can find a guy, we probably both should go find a guy. Everybody's been begging me to write a slot T book.
I have a
And
guy. I
and
know
so
a
I've
guy.
looked at it close enough, and I'll be honest, and please, slot T guys, comment below and tell me I'm totally out of my mind. I'll appreciate that, and maybe you'll want to come on and talk to us. But it looks like a really fast-paced double wing with a slot either side. And the whole key to the thing is the speed of the setup and the quickness of the plays, and they're hitting really hard. That's what I'm seeing from it. I'm not seeing, you know, 30-40% more of double wing plays that, oh, these are just slot T stuff, but maybe I'm wrong. Like I haven't looked at it. Like you guys probably haven't seen the beast. So if you're a slot T guy, let us know. I would love to talk. Wouldn't you like to talk to a slot T guy, like a real one?
I had the offensive coordinator of Liberty Hill High School on the podcast a couple of years ago, and that's one of the slot T teams in
Gurus. Yep.
Texas, Gurus, and then Coach Banstra, who has a YouTube channel,
Yep.
they run the slot T where he's the head coach. So we can definitely get that worked out. That would be good.
Yeah. So I think that would be a lot of fun to see that. But I think we've hit everything. And what is your, so we've talked to a lot. We've
Mhm.
talked a lot. What is your favorite, say, since you're a high school guy, I'm a youth guy, so we'll say what, so let's say let's say you're a JV head coach, not varsity,
Mhm.
but say JV, but it's a really good, or do you want to be a varsity? What do you want to be?
That sounds good to me. JV
So
head
you
coach.
say,
That
let's
sounds
just
good to
say
me.
you're a JV head coach. The head coach has said you're going to run our stuff, but you can pick any other offense to add in. Say we're running a gun tee, but I'm going to let you pick another offense that you want to add because you don't have that talent that we have to run the gun tee. What offense do you pick?
Oh, I'm picking the T.
You're picking,
Because I know that the best.
so
You
you
know what
know,
I mean? Like
right?
I know
Yeah,
that the best. Yeah.
coach, what you know. There it
Right.
is.
What about you? What you? I mean, you got your whole system, but
I've got my I'm gonna run the Power Wing Beast offense system,
right,
which will include the beast. So what you may ask me what I install first.
right.
I'll install the beast tank play, and then I will install a power eye dive to the
Hmm.
6 or 4 hole. Those will
Hmm.
be 2 things that I'll install really fast, and then we move from that. So those are the
Hmm.
things that I would pick there. Yeah.
That's so good,
So
Coach.
yeah, but I
And
think
then
we've go ahead.
I'll say this: if I don't have that third back, it's probably split back.
Yeah,
Yeah, like if I don't have that third guy I want to put back there, then it would probably be split back.
and I will make a note that I run like all of this stuff. I run pretty much. I'm running a nasty tight end unbalanced, or I'm running a wing, and I'm sealing that DN because we're blocking down. So I'm
Hmm.
trying to seal and play with the DN with the wing and maybe a tight end and nasty, or I'm kicking with my fullback. Everybody asks, how am I dealing with the edge player? Because I'm a
Hmm.
gap kind of guy. We're not really zoning or reaching out. So
Hmm.
we're using backs mostly or a tight end to deal with that outside linebacker or the D end if you're in a 6-2 kind of thing
Hmm.
there. A lot of people ask about that, but I think what we've said and what you said and what I've said is coach what you know, right? Coach what you love and what you feel comfortable with and that
Hmm.
you can teach.
Hmm.
Because I do know that for me, it takes me 2 seasons to install a new offense to feel comfortable like I've got it.
Right. Hmm.
Don't you feel like?
Absolutely. I
Yeah. So
100% feel like that. Yes.
whoever's trying to install something the first year and that's your first time with that offense, unless you're like Bear Bryant and who's the other coach that was just well, yeah. Unless you're the top 1%, it's going to take a while to get that thing
Hmm.
installed properly unless you got all studs.
Hmm. I agree 100% with that.
All right. Well, I think we're moving into Turkey Day
Coach, we're
or
about to
Steak
be
Day for
there,
me.
and then I want to be eating a bunch of vegan Thanksgiving stuff. My wife cooks; it's really good, and you'll be grilling, I'm sure, doing your thing.
Grilling, and we got a whole thing of crumble cookie pies, which are amazing. So
Nice. Mm.
happy Turkey Day, everybody. Zach, it's been a pleasure again.
It
We'll see
always is,
you
my friend.
next week.